yet not one officer has been arrested. Was 940 just a diversion leading us down a rabbit hole? The people must demand, indict, convict, send killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. And again, it is not enough just to hate this fascist Trump-Pence regime. We have to drive it out. This American fascism will not be stopped painlessly, but it can be knocked off the tracks sooner than we can imagine with the right demand that the Trump-Pence regime must go. And with a different kind of protest. Would you like to hear more?
No.
We're here for Stoney. We're here for Stoney. We're here for Stoney.
So it's done what they just did in South Korea, Puerto Rico, and Hong Kong.
Justice for Stoney!
And justice for Stoney Chiefstick. Indict Craig Keller.
Natives in this community have made it very difficult. We, like non-natives in communities everywhere and white people in communities everywhere, we've gotten out of hand, and all of you know about it. Chief of Police says, I hope that you can finish it and get to a place where there are no guns in Poulsbo at 4th of July. There will not be any, we will talk people down. We will not believe whoever it is who says we are being scared by such and such. We will maintain some sort of dignity for everybody, whether they live here or not, whatever their colored skin.
If you look at the officer over there, no disrespect to him, I don't know him, but look at his belt. Look at all the tools that he has at his disposal right now. Stonechild had this in his pocket.
The results of the supposedly independent investigation and must, in the meantime, rely on accounts of people who were there. What is clear from those accounts is that there was no reason for him to have been shot. He presented no danger to anyone except to the minds of those who associate danger with dark skins. I've heard that he was invading someone's space. That is not a capital crime. We don't sentence people to death for that. But of course, Stoney never got a trial. I've heard he had a screwdriver in his pocket. A screwdriver is not a weapon. There's no law against carrying one.
people to stop killing each other. Stoney did not have to die. Stoney did not have to die. And as long as I'm alive, Stoney will not have died. Thank you. Come on, hurry up.
It's good medicine for his family, his children, his mother, his aunties, his cousins. Thank you for bringing the good medicine, and we're going to be heading to City Hall, and so please join us, and Chuck will give you the instructions, I guess. I'm Trishandra Pickup, the mother of his children over there. Okay, I never had talked in front of a group before, so thank you.
Okay, we're going to have the color guard stand out over here on Anderson Parkway and just follow them. The Poulsbo Police Department's going to block off the road, and also Suquamish PD is here to help out also.
Well, good afternoon, friends and relatives. I'd like to raise my hand to each and every one of you for being here today to support the family, support his children. Today we're asking for justice. We want to know what's going on behind those doors, what's going on with this investigation, what's going on with the cameras that those police officers were wearing. We know that the one that did the actual shooting, that camera malfunctioned, but what about the 4 or 5 other cops that were there? We want, there's something out there. So we look around, friends and relatives, we're coming together as a community. We're coming together as all kinds of different people. We need to do that as a community. As a brown man, I feel tension. I feel tension when I come to the Poulsbo and go to the store. I feel tension, and that's not right. I was concerned about bringing my little ones here today, and that's not right. So we got to do something. We got to do something right now, today. Something has to happen today. So I just wanted to begin this portion of just thanking you all for being here. Thank you for the support. The family appreciates it. They're still in a lot of pain. They're still trying to heal from the injustices that happened to their dad, to their relative. And we need to know what's going on. We need to know where the officials are today. They need to come out here and explain to us what's going on. Is there going to be So at this time, I know there's a lot of people here there's a lot of leaders here that have a lot of good words to uplift the family, to uplift the people, to somehow bring some justice. So I invite you to please come up, share some words. Let's go see them.
Hello. I'd like to introduce my daughter, Alana Dawn Chiefstick. She's the daughter of Stoney Chiefstick.
Hi, my name is Alana Dawn Chiefstick. I'm here with my mom, my brother Vitica, Picanalai, and my other brothers, Kane Chiefstick and Stonechild Chiefstick Jr. And I want justice for my dad.
Hello, my name is Lydia Saigo, and I'm a friend of the family. I met Stoney. He was my friend, and he was my neighbor for many years up on Sacman Tribal Housing in Suquamish, where I got to watch these kids grow up. And my son's the same age as some of these kids here. And what we know about Stoney is he would never threaten a child. And I don't know who this Fox News reporter was that called up and said, hey, this guy's making kids uncomfortable. But where's that kid, supposedly, that got made uncomfortable by this man? Because what I know about him is all I would see is him playing ball with his kids every single day up in Sacman Tribal Housing. And that's what we know about Stoney. That we could let our kids go out and play because we knew that he would make sure all the kids would get out of the street when there was a car coming. That he was always down at the park making sure our kids were safe. And that's who we know. And Stoney's always going to be a part of our Sacman crew here. And he's a part of our community. Even though he was Chippewa Creek, Suquamish, we claim him. And we're always going to. And that's what we know about Stoney. So we're not going to stand here while the media and the police try to slander his name to make up for what he is. So we just wanted to say to his kids, we loved your dad, and we're glad to have him be a part of our community for all these years. And what happened here was wrong, and we are not going to let Poulsbo forget about this. They're going to have to answer for what they did and for the way that they treated your family, and we are never going to let them forget about your dad's name, Stonechild Chiefstick.
I'm Nez Percy Yakima, Nooksack and Grovant. And first I want to say my condolences and my prayers to the family. I want to thank everybody for being here. I definitely feel at a loss for words. I've been doing this work, walking alongside families, including my own, missing and murdered Indigenous women, men, children, people. Violence against Native people is been rampant and ongoing for over 500 years. And it breaks my heart that today we stand here with this family and with these children asking for Poulsbo to do the right thing, for the police officers to be fair and to not withhold the evidence. The family deserves those the video footage from those body cams, and we're not going to rest. This is the time where we need allies. We need people to come and stand with the family. We need the community here to come and stand with the family, and we need to call out the officials and not rest on this. Because what happens is that they go to sleep, they put this stuff away, and then they never do anything about it. Today, this is a beautiful gathering. It's a beautiful gathering where everybody's coming together asking for one thing, and that's for justice for Stoney. My prayers are to the family. The only thing that I could think of when I was on my way over here is that my son, both of my sons, I'm afraid for them to have encounters with the police. I'm afraid for their lives because of who they are, because of the color of their skin, because of our nationality, because of who we are as a people. And I hope that someday we can change that, that we can, that the white man and the colonial system could see that we've done a good thing for you. That this land that you're on, the air you breathe, the trees that you see, the water, that this land was ours. The Creator asked us to care of this and your guests here? When will you open up your hearts and do the right things by Native people, by First People here, and come together and stand with us? Anyways, I'm not really a good public speaker. I'm more like a, say their names and kind of on the background, but I'm really grateful to be here, and thank you for allowing me to say a few words.
Coalition to Stop Police Brutality and with RefuseFascism.org, a national organization that is actively preparing for sustained mass protests nationwide to drive out the Trump-Pence regime. Trump's Make America Great Again is a 21st century fascist program of manifest destiny. America first, wrapped in the flag and Mike Pence's Bible taken literally, with a program of white supremacy, misogyny, and xenophobia. This regime denies truth and objective evidence, and yet it has its hands on the most powerful military and nuclear arsenal in history, and is preparing and threatening to use it. Millions of immigrants live in terror, fearing their loved ones will be ripped away. People's humanity is viciously denied. Women are posed to lose the right to abortion. Trump and Sessions have instructed police to take the gloves off, further brutalizing people of color. LGBTQ rights recently won are under assault. Damage done to the environment by this regime could be irreversible. Fascism rules by organized repression and terror by the government. Civil liberties are stripped away. Law rewritten, dissent criminalized, the courts packed with fascists. This program of Make America White Again, with Trump as the white supremacist in chief, includes an epidemic of police brutality and shows the necessity to remove this regime from office to prevent a new form of genocide against indigenous, black, and Latino people. Now, on the evening before the 4th of July, Poulsbo cop Craig Keller shot and killed Stonechild in the middle of a crowded community celebration at Waterfront Park. Stonechild was a member of the Suquamish tribe and a father of 5 children. Studies show Native people are killed by police at a higher rate than any other group. Police say they killed Stonechild because there was a struggle. Witnesses contradict the police story. One person has publicly stated that she was 10 feet away when Stonechild was shot, and at that time he had his hands held out open and empty. The Kitsap Sun reported that local Fox News editor Ryan Hodges and friends called the police because the man had a screwdriver in his pocket and lunged at him. Okay. We demand Craig Keller be immediately arrested and charged with murder.
Yes.
Initiative 940, passed by Washington voters last November, requires an independent investigation of any killing by police. In open violation of this law, the Kitsap Critical Incident Response Team, who by proximity and function must be considered close associates of the Poulsbo police, is in charge of what amounts to a cover-up. We were told 940 would make it possible to prosecute police when they murder. Since that time, 30 people have been killed by police in Washington state. The known facts show most of these deaths were not justified, yet not one officer has been arrested. Was 940 just a diversion leading us down a rabbit hole? The people must demand, indict, convict, send killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. And again, it is not enough just to hate this fascist Trump Pence regime. We have to drive it out. This American fascism will not be stopped painlessly, but it can be knocked off the tracks sooner than we can imagine with the right demand that the Trump Pence regime must go. And with a different kind of protest. Would you like to hear more?
No, here for Stoney. We're here for Stoney. We're here for Stoney.
So it's done what they just did in South Korea, Puerto Rico, and Hong Kong.
Justice for Stoney!
And justice for Stoney Chiefstick. Indict Craig Keller.
Here is Rita Oldcombe.
My name is Rita Old Coyote. I stand here just brokenhearted and angry and scared. I don't even have words for Stoney's children here, other than I love you. I love you children so much. I want you all to look at these children and see Stoney's legacy. He had beautiful children. He has beautiful children. He needs to come together and support the children of Native people. I see everything that's going on in this country. I see what goes on in this city of Poulsbo. I grew up here. I lived with racism here. My son lived with racism here. My girls lived with racism here. My grandchildren, my great-grandchildren live with racism here. There's no doubt in my mind, no doubt, that if Stoney was white, he would not be dead right now. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. And I'm angry about that. And you, white people, need to be angry about that and do something. Racism is a white man's problem. That is not my problem, or my children, or my grandchildren, or my great-grandchildren, or these children standing here. That's not our problem. We are victims of it. You make choices and decisions based on the color of our skin. You're protected by the color of your skin. We're not protected because of the color of our skin. I'm asking each one of you here to please, please make noise. Justice for Stoney in Poulsbo, Washington.
Well, my heart goes out to the family. It's really, really close to home. You know, you hear about this across the United States. You hear about this happening. The brown people, black people getting killed. I don't know why we don't use our tasers. You know, that would save a lot of people. But I just like to give my regards to the family and to our community and to everyone that's here. My heart goes out to all of you because you're come here concerned about what's going on. that someone could be shot down in cold blood. Now, I really have a hard time understanding that. Although I've studied the history of the United States, and I know the cruelty, the massacres, the kinds of things that have happened to our people from the beginning of contact, and it's been very merciless. A lot of hatred, a lot of theft, and stealing, not just our land, but our very heart and our soul. So I'm standing here at a loss for words that this could happen right here in Poulsbo. I grew up here, I went to school here, my family lives here. Lawrence Webster was my father. Mary Mason Webster was my mother. Julia Jacob was my grandmother. Chief Jacob Wahalchu was my great-grandfather. On the Mason side, there was William Rogers, my great-grandfather. Annie Rogers, great-grandmother. They served on both the Duwamish and Suquamish tribal councils. And I know they had a dream for things to be different, that things could be good for our families, that we could have peace. But until these kinds of things stop, there won't be peace. But we must pray for it. We must pray for not only Stonechild's family, but we must pray for those that do these things against us. Because I think in that kind of atmosphere, maybe we have hope for change. I'm a strong believer in prayer. And so I lift my prayers for the family, for our community, for our people. And when I say our people, I mean everyone. We're all family. That's what our chief, Seattle, had said. We are all one people. That same blood runs through our veins. But the people that can understand this and look at one another, no matter, irregardless of color or creed, that can look at one another and love them. Even if they don't like you, love them. Lift them up in prayer. Ask for the light to be spread upon them. But God bless each and every one of you for being here. Thank you.
I asked to speak today because I wanted to catch the eye of especially the cops that are here today, the Poulsbo Police Force. I think we all can help them. I'm really thankful. First of all, I want to thank the Suquamish people whose land we're standing on. And I grew up in Suquamish land. Now it's Poulsbo and Seattle and all the other towns around here. But I want to thank you for allowing us to stay. And I know that sometimes we, the non-natives in this community, have made it very difficult. We, like non-natives in communities everywhere and white people in communities everywhere, we've gotten out of hand, and all of you know about it. And I wanted to speak to the police in the community here, because we all know that during my life, it's been 40, 50 years in this community, there's been institutionalized racism, which is so insidious that we think we're just trying to keep law and order, but we're scaring people. We're making it harder to live here. We're making it more uncomfortable. And so I believe that we've made a few steps in the right direction in this past year. Initiative 940 was something we all passed in the state of Washington. That is to begin to de-escalate violent interchanges. And now we have 1043s. We have a law that has been passed. And we are not listening to the law. I talked to the people, I talked to the chief of police, and the chief of police says, yes, we've begun that. I am concerned that we have not begun the de-escalation training, which needs to happen, and needs to happen soon. And we put it in place because we have such a terrible history of violating people's human dignity and violating just the rule of law that if you're going to have a community, you need to respect one another. And so I appreciate that the policemen are here today. I know you're in the middle of this training, or at least that's what your chief of police says. I hope that you can finish it and get to a place where there are no guns in Poulsbo at 4th of July. There will not be any, we will talk people down. We will not believe whoever it is who says we are being scared by such and such. We will maintain some sort of dignity for everybody, whether they live here or not, whatever their color skin, but especially for people who are really afraid, people with dark skin. Thank you very much. Let's keep this up. Let's hold our community accountable, and let's not let them just get away with any more, and certainly not this shooting.
I'm not very good at talking. I wanted to come up here because this is his youngest daughter, Lily. All my brother's children have to grow up without a father, and he brought them up with respect, you know, and he brought them up in a good way, and they're all very good children, and to have them all grow up without a father that would never harm a child in any way whatsoever. And the things that are being said about him, it makes me angry, but I'm not going to say anything about that. It's just my heart hurts, and I know his children's hearts hurt more because they have to grow up that for the rest of their lives like that. And this is his youngest right here.
Justice for Stone Child Chiefstick.
Cassandra George Seedstock, Cassandra George Seedstock, so clubs ched, Dufgolchi ched, Tiwiutsu. My name is Cassandra George, and I'm a teacher. I teach children. And I've been very fortunate to have been around these children as a teacher and just as a neighborhood buddy for some of them. And one of the things you notice, like as a teacher, is you see some of these kids just have this so much love and positivity, and this spirit, this power that they have with them, that they bring in. And Stoney's kids have that, and they have that because Stone Child had that, and their mother had that. And as a teacher, I do have children tell me when we talk about, what do you want to be when you grow up? And when my students say they want to be a police officer, I'm scared for them because I know they're more likely to be shot at or arrested by one than to become one. And I wish I was wrong. So as a teacher, I have to be positive. I have to think, oh, don't you show that face, Cassie. You give them hope. And that's what I would like to live my life as, is thinking that there's hope for this. And a lot of people are talking about good things, like let's train our police officers so next time this doesn't happen. Hey, this is new, let's do something different. This is not new. So I'd like to focus what I'm talking about on what happened, not what we need to do before it happens again. And if you look at the officer over there, no disrespect to him, I don't know him, but look at his belt. Look at all the tools that he has at his disposal right now. Stone Child had this in his pocket. teacher, I think, okay, well, what is the law here? And there's a history, it's not just initiative. After that initiative went by, it had to become a Senate bill and then a House bill. So according to this part yesterday, I was looking it up, like what can an officer do? How can, what can they get away with murder, so to speak? What does the law allow? And officers are allowed to kill if someone is escaping prison, and there's a whole thing you can look at it. But the part that was relevant that I noticed in Senate Bill, House Bill 1064, it says, a law officer shall not be held criminally liable for using deadly force if the officer meets the good faith standard adopted in this section. So this is what good faith means. The good faith is an objective standard which shall consider all the facts, the circumstances, and information known to the officer at the time to determine whether, this is going to determine, would a reasonable officer believe that the use of deadly force was necessary. If a reasonable officer feels that the use of deadly force was necessary, Officer Keller will not be criminally charged. So currently what's most relevant is that this community watches what that investigation team comes up with. If they find out that this is reasonable, as a community you need to pay attention and fight this, because there's nothing reasonable about this. The only way that we... Senate House Bill 1064. Senate House Bill 1064. In order for an officer to not be criminally liable, a reasonable officer has to believe that the use of deadly force was necessary to prevent death or serious physical harm to the officer or another individual. Now, from my understanding, all of the people that were there, these children, these families, were still there when the officers arrived. So the families that were around it, including the family that had the casing and the blanket, must not have thought it was that Stoney was being that dangerous. Otherwise, that place should have been vacated. This officer, Keller, shot into an open crowd of people because he believed that this is reasonable and necessary. There's nothing reasonable and necessary about this. And as a community, watch the outcome of this investigation. Because if they find this reasonable, we have to fight for these children.
The results of the supposedly independent investigation and must, in the meantime, rely on accounts of people who were there. What is clear from those accounts is that there was no reason for him to have been shot. He presented no danger to anyone except to the minds of those who associate danger with dark skins. I've heard that he was invading someone's space. That is not a capital crime. We don't sentence people to death for that. But of course, Stoney never got a trial. I've heard he had a screwdriver in his pocket. A screwdriver is not a weapon. There's no law against carrying one. And still, apparently that was part of what led to his death. The actions of the communities that surround Tussakwab, the place of the clear salt water, must focus on gaining an impartial, independent investigation so that those responsible can be held accountable. They should face charges in the killing of an unarmed man and get the trial that he was denied. Moreover, those of us in Poulsbo and surrounding communities like Bainbridge Island must examine and root out our own racism. The racism that we breathe in from the time we are born, simply by being a part of this culture, this country that was founded on the twin original sins of attempted genocide and enslavement of people with dark skins. I spent 3 years working in a state psychiatric hospital crisis unit in another state, and we saw many people who were having difficulty controlling their actions. We never killed anyone. This death should not have happened, and this must not happen again.
Oh!